You know, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you, man, I have officially come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter what year it is, what month it is, what day it is, what hour it is, the insanity, the craziness will always continue. It is here to stay. Now, I know this won't be shocking to many people because you've also come to the same conclusion. What might be shocking to you is that I've only now just come to that conclusion. I'm extremely late to the party, right? But better late than never. And I'll tell you why I'm late to this party, because I was holding out. I really was. I had a little bit of faith left in humanity. But as you can see with my facial expression, my monotone voice for this video, it's gone. And what you can also see with the title and the thumbnail, what I'm going to be talking about today. It's going to be a good one. I'm going to be talking about the degeneracy that is sweeping the modern world. Massive understatement. And there is a woman out there, who is also in the thumbnail, who is very well known for being consumed with and pushing said degeneracy, and that is OF creator Lily Phillips. You know, I don't really understand how people can put creator and women like Lily Phillips in the same sentence, because they ain't creating anything. They're doing the opposite. But I'm also sure many of you are sat at home watching right now thinking, wait, hold on, why do I recognize that name? Why does it sound familiar? And that is most likely because of the viral documentary that came out not so long ago that was about her sleeping with around 100 men in one day. Do you know how... I can't swear. I don't even know what word to use. But we need to bring back shaving. But that documentary went viral nonetheless, not only because, again, she slept with around 100 men in one day, but also because after she pulled the insane stunt, she started to break down and she cried because it was all too much for her. How embarrassing, right? Who would have thought that sleeping around with 100 men in one day would have such a consequence? Who knew? But with that whole situation, people with common sense anyway were questioning the parents, and rightly so. And now we have a little bit of insight into how the parents actually feel about all of this, as a new documentary has been made. Yes, I know, another documentary, what is going on? But another documentary has been made featuring Lily Phillips, where her parents have a conversation about her empowering career decision, and her mother is heartbroken, and her father would apparently give every penny he has to make her stop. Now, I have some groundbreaking piece of advice, and I do this quite often on this channel because I think when I pass from this earth, I'm going to be known as a great philosopher, a visionary. And it didn't take me too long to think about this actually, because, you know, I'm just that smart. But why not just stop her in the very first place? I know, I can hear jaws dropping to the floor. I don't think anybody would have thought of that one. Not at all. Well, clearly her parents didn't. And I think, like, people need to really start taking responsibility for the decisions that they make. Now, we're going to be getting into this story, checking out what was said, people breaking down as usual. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you could, make sure to leave a like rating, as it really helps out the video. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. And the Daily Mail have kindly reported Lily Phillips's mother breaks down in tears over her OFS stunts as her heartbroken father says he'd give her every penny he's got to make it stop. Oh boy, I cringe just reading that out, I really do. But Lily Phillips's heartbroken parents were in tears discussing their notorious daughter's adult career on a new documentary, and they told how they would sell their house if it stopped her producing adult content. What? The 24-year-old adult content star from Derbyshire, who has made a name and a living on the controversial subscription site OF, appeared in a raw and emotional episode of Stacey Dooley Sleeps Over, where she was joined by her parents for their regular Sunday catch-up. You know, I think you guys need to be doing something else on a Sunday, and not, you know, catching up over the phone or whatever. You go to church, find Jesus. Seriously, another groundbreaking piece of advice there. I'm on a roll today. In the candid chat, Lily's father Lindsay, 59, admitted, "We've known for years she's done OF, and I thought it was just posing in swimwear and lingerie." Her mother added, when she said she was doing OF, "We stood back because we want to continue our relationship with our daughter. We were pretty open with it, but when it went to the next step, we were like, no. Her father added, if there's anything we could do to change her profession, we'd do it overnight. It's the degradingness of it and making sure that she's safe." Oh, what you on about, mate? It's an empowering career decision. Listen to the liberal feminists. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are leaving your comments down below just hearing me read that out, and I really want to go off on this, I do, because I have a lot to say. But what we're going to do, we're going to get into the video footage of this documentary and see what was said and check out their reactions, etc, etc, so you don't have to sit around for 10 minutes listening to me talk. But then after that, I will give my unfiltered thoughts, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around for that. So the very first video we're going to be taking a look at was posted by this account on X, and they go on to say, breaking, prolific OF star Lily Phillips' parents broke down as they begged their daughter to stop her extreme OF stunts that often involve 50 to 100 men at once. Empowering. What the actual? Let's take a look.
I would like to get our point over, but obviously she wants to use the way the royals work, and they just don't comment on things as such, and it goes away.
I understand both approaches. Can you talk me through when you first learned this is what's happening?
We've known for years that she'd done this, but I can honestly say I thought it was just posing in swimwear and lingerie. I thought that was it. I really did.
Oh, that's it.
Because when she
not bad
announced
at all.
that she was doing that, we stood back because we want to continue our relationship with our daughter, and we were pretty open with it. You know, it's what she does. But then when it took the next step, we were like, no, we didn't like that. Did
No, not at all. If there's anything that we could do that
Feel
would change
shame,
their profession,
lady, because
we'd do it
this is
overnight.
disgusting.
Yeah, we'd do anything to stop her doing the extreme stuff.
Yeah, it is the degradingness of it, and it's just making sure also that she's safe.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think, what have we done anything wrong with our upbringing? But
Don't think so.
We've had, well, as far as I'm concerned, they've had nothing but nice times and love.
Man. The modern family dynamic. These parents, man. Don't feel sorry for them at all. You can tell that they're extremely weak. Wow. Well. Get me off this planet. But let's go right back to the beginning, because there is so much to talk about. You know, you heard me say at the very beginning with the article that it took Lily Phillips going to the next level for her parents to be like, wait, hold on. This ain't a good idea. It didn't occur to you right at the beginning that this was a good idea. But instead of saying, no, Lily, you ain't doing this, what did they do? Oh, go ahead, do what you want. We want to keep our relationship with you. Again, it just shows, you know, we are living in a time also of weak mothers and spineless fathers. And regardless if her father thought it was just lingerie and swimwear, how is that even okay? How are you okay with your daughter selling pictures like that on the internet? I'll tell you now, if my daughter came up to me and said, oh, by the way, Dad, I'm going to start OF, and it's just going to be lingerie and swimwear, don't worry, it ain't happening. Not in this reality or any other. And after I've said that, and that's what's going to happen, I'm going to go into the bathroom and stare in the mirror and think to myself, how did I become such a failure of a father that my daughter is now asking me that, or telling me that? Because they have failed in that aspect. They really have. But I will also say this, you know, Lily Phillips obviously has free will, and she can decide to stop this. She can cry all she wants on camera, be like, oh, I can't believe my parents are going through this. But if hearing her parents say what they said doesn't stop her, nothing will. Say the demon within her ain't letting her have a day off. So do I feel sorry for her or her parents? Nah, not at all. Do you know who I am going to feel sorry for? Yeah, I do have a heart. I know it comes across as very different, but there is one within this body. I'm going to feel sorry for the kids that women like Lily Phillips and other OF creators have, because you are going to put them through so much embarrassment during their younger years, you know, going to school, etc, etc. And I really don't think when it gets to that point, you know, it's going to matter how much money you've made, because that's the excuse they come up with, you know, oh, I'm making so much money, I'm a strong, independent woman, and I'm doing what I want to do, I'm getting millions. Who gives an F? Because when you see your child going through so much pain and they're getting ridiculed every day, I think that's when it will really hit home for these people, that maybe it wasn't worth it. And that's all going to happen in Lily Phillips' case, because she had the great idea, the fun idea, to sleep with around 100 men in one day. That choice is not only going to affect her kids, but future generations as well. That's how terrible of a choice it is. You know, women many, many years ago would never even dream of doing this. They wouldn't even think about doing it. But now, because they've been told for so long that sleeping around is empowering. How many young women are being told that today? That's the agenda, the message you see everywhere on social media, again, thanks to the liberal feminists and the weak men who defend this garbage. They're also being told, oh, don't worry about posting lustful pictures on social media. It's good, show off your body. Because also people are desperate for attention. Oh, sex work, there is nothing wrong with that. Get money. Doesn't matter what you do. You do you. Do you know what I find funny about all of that as well? You know, the very same people who defend all that crap are the same ones who say, oh, women should be respected. Which they should, but none of that is respectful. Sleeping around constantly, there's nothing respectful about that. Doing OF content, posting lustful pictures on the internet, nothing respectful about that. In fact, if you do that, you don't deserve any respect. And that goes for men as well. You know, I have to mention that part because I don't know if you've noticed this, but whenever you talk about women in a certain way, you always get people in the comments going, oh, but men are doing things as well. Yes, we know. Men have a huge part to play in this as well. Settle down, alright? If men didn't engage with this content to the rate that they're doing it now, it wouldn't be where it's at. But then these OF creators and these sites clearly are taking advantage of the addiction that these men have. But men need to take responsibility, man. If you can't stop yourself from watching this stuff, and it forces you to send money to these OF creators, you need help. Seriously. But then you also think to yourself, these men didn't give Lily Phillips the idea of sleeping with 100 men in one day. She did that. She organized that. And her choice to do this is not only causing a big issue within society, she's part of it, but she is also destroying her family. You know, she's putting them through such a tough time. And it's reached the point where her family are essentially begging her to stop. Do you know how, to me anyway, humiliating that is? They sound like Oliver Twist. Please stop, please. Like, they could have stopped her right at the beginning. And again, it just goes back to the point of weak parenting, because people today would rather not upset their kids than do what needs to be done. Do the right thing. And you could also say, you know, and I think this does play a big part, when a nation, a society, strays further and further away from God, degeneracy and other agendas get normalized. You know, these messages that young girls are being told, they aren't from God. Do you think he wants his daughters being told to sleep around and it's good for you? No, of course not. This is evil. So you end up with demonic acts like we're seeing, because as well, you know, I really do think you have to have something sinister, evil attached to you or within you to even go down this road, and then to even come up with the idea of sleeping with 100 people in one day. Like, that is satanic in my opinion. You think about as well the spiritual and emotional side to all of this, because intimacy is spiritual and emotional, which is why I really do think these messages that young girls, young men are being told, you know, sleep around, it's okay, etc., etc. That's why it's being pushed around, so, you know, they can destroy people spiritually and emotionally. You know, you give yourself away to so many people, it's going to rot you to the core. So you then apply that to women like Lily Phillips, who are ripping their soul apart by doing what they are doing, that can only have negative consequences, and also the men who are exchanging this energy will be affected. There is no escaping it. Everybody getting involved is going to feel some effect from it. I think what this woman has put her family through is just shameful, and maybe deep down she knows it, which is why she walked off camera or didn't want to be on camera. To me, that screams guilt, and she would rather walk off than address what's being said. It's interesting though when you think about that, because she doesn't want to be on camera then, but she has no problem being on camera getting ran through by over 100 guys. That in itself, those two scenarios show a big problem. Women like Lily Phillips would rather degrade themselves on camera than be on camera with their parents going through a tough time, because they really don't care about anybody else. It's all about serving that monster within them that never sleeps and is always hungry. And if you never slay that monster, that demon, and let's be real, I would say find God, you're going to be in a vicious cycle for the foreseeable future. And maybe women like Lily Phillips and men don't feel it or see it now, but they will in the future. They are choosing a lot of short-term happiness and pleasure for long-term pain. Leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen. What are your thoughts on everything you've seen and heard in this video? Is there anything I've said that you disagreed with? Leave all your comments down below. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, it has been your host JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.